Hi, I'm Miriam Joy and welcome to my studio. Today we're going to be making the Terra Cotta jack-o'-lantern, and I fell in love when the Terra Cotta's pumpkin jack-o'-lanterns first started coming out, and they have always been kind of pricey. They've been a little bit better, but we're going to do our own and we're going to make it out of a candy pail for less than $1. With our pail, you get to decide if you want to leave the color on the inside the way it is, or if you want to spray paint it all black as a base. If you want to leave the color the way it is, take your paper, 2 pieces of 8.5 by 11 paper, and put them inside the pail and spray paint the outside, and then the color doesn't get on the inside, and then cut it. Now if you're going to do all of it and not worried about it, we're going to go ahead and cut out his face first. And I picked the candy pails with the simplest faces. I didn't want them to be real complicated or anything, so I just picked out the basic jack-o'-lantern faces. And I'm going to be doing a lot of these. We've got a lot of different things, different projects. So I am using a hot knife, and these are just a regular hot burner or wood burner that you find at your craft store or Walmart or anything like that, with the knife tip, and it is very, very hot. And you could cut it other ways if you wanted to, and I'm just going to follow, and it kind of, the term melts like butter. You don't want to push it, you just want the hot tip to kind of melt through it. And I found out if you kind of follow the back part first, that's how you kind of learn how to guide it. And I'm just simply cutting out all of the facial features. And I'm not worried about the edges, because we want them to kind of have a rustic feel anyway for the different things that we're using them for. So if you wanted to kind of make them smoother, you could go back with your knife a little bit, or you could even go back with your sandpaper and sand them down. You don't want any really rough edges, but you don't want them perfect. Now, I suggest doing this in a well-ventilated area. You might even wear your mask, just for any fume purposes. And we're going to go ahead and finish cutting these guys. Like I said, I'm doing a lot of projects with these guys this year, even some Thanksgiving pumpkins, so make sure you check out all of the different videos. And just around his mouth, around the teeth. If you accidentally cut into a part, just stop, pull it out, and just leave that cut there. Don't worry about it, and just continue on. If you really like the cutout look, there you can look for the blades at Walnut Hollow. That's where I believe you can find them on the website. And I'm just going to go ahead and finish cutting this all the way around. It's not going to take me much time. If you don't want to cut it out, you can just paint this part. When we get to that part of the solid colors, we'll talk about that as well. Once we've cut his face out, I went out and I spray painted him in the inside and the outside with spray paint. You want to use a spray paint that is good for plastic. You don't have to do this. we can go straight to the paint on top. I just wanted the black inside to be a shadow, not to see a color, but if you wanted to leave it orange, you could do the orange, and you wouldn't have to necessarily do the outside as well. I just thought it made a good base color, so I went ahead and did it. I'm also going to go ahead and remove the handle at this time, and we're going to start with our ridges, and I'm going to be using multi-surface paint. And what's nice about multi-surface paint is you can use it on multiple surfaces like plastic and glass and any different surface. So that is the reason that we're going to use that particular paint. I'm going to head and start with burnt sienna today, and the burnt sienna is going to be our shadow colors, and I'm going to put it in the creases. And the first thing I'm going to do is run it up with a craft sponge and then sponge it back down. And I've wet my craft sponge just real mildly and squeezed all of the water out, so there's no water left in it. It's just damp. And we're going to go through the eyes, and we're also going to go around the eyes. I'm going to cover up any of that black. Now, if you decided not to cover or cut your face out, then go ahead and put the darker colors in there. Just go ahead and put that all inside. Or if you wanted to leave that part black and just sponge around the edges like we're doing now with a darker color, you could do that as well. So you don't have to cut the face out. It's just if you look at the terracotta pots, they are. So that is the reason that I decided that I wanted to have mine cut out, and I really like the cut out effect. You could use any darker red if you wanted to, or even a dark brown if you can't find this particular color of burnt sienna. It's okay to use some different colors. And then my next color that I'm going to be using is going to be Pueblo, and it's kind of a terracotta color. On this one I used a oranger terracotta, but each kind of color or brand has their own different color of terracotta. It's really interesting, but just something that looks similar to terracotta. And the terracotta pots can also be a lighter color, so some are a lot lighter as well. So I'm going to go ahead and finish doing it all around there, but what I'm also going to do, I'll finish this up in just a minute, is I also want to run it along the edges on the top, and I'm just taking my sponge and putting it right there like that. And then I'm also going to do that on the bottom as well to get that crease inside that crease. So I'm just going to finish going up over the ridges, and then we'll start on our next thing after this all dries. Okay, now that he's all dry, we're going to come back in with our Pueblo or terracotta color and dampen our sponge, wring all the water out. Should be pretty dried, not any water in there. Pounce your color out, and we're going to put the color right down the middle. And we're going to kind of bring that out to the edges here. And this is almost kind of a pumpkin more color than, I'd like it a little bit redder. So maybe more of a terracotta than a Pueblo. But play with your colors, see what you like. Now the reason that we're sponging on is because we want to get that grainy sand feel from the terracotta clay. We don't want to have the smooth effect that a brush would bring. And so I'm going to put this on. I'm probably going to come back in and do some more in between with my raw sienna again on my ones in between. And the black kind of gives it a natural effect, but the orange was easy to just leave it and not spray paint it and just go directly over that. So, but this kind of makes it look kind of natural. So however you kind of decide that you want to do it, that is fine. We've got him really starting to look kind of pumpkin-y, grainy feeling. And get some up in these areas here as well. Just up there a little bit. And so once we got that all the way around, then I'm going to come back with my color again. And I'm just going to go into those again. The reason we put the ridges on is it really gives it the roundedness of the pumpkin. That look. And I've done a lot of different projects with these pails, so check them out. I've done kind of some skeleton Halloween ones, and I'm going to be doing some Thanksgiving ones. And the other nice great thing about this too is once you're done with Halloween, turn it around and you've got Thanksgiving. So you can use it for a couple of holidays too. Don't just think of just one. And I'm just going to put this a little bit here. And then I'm going to come back in just a tad more. Not much, just to kind of put that in. You also can come back in, I'll show you in just a second. Just blending him in so he doesn't look like lines. He just kind of looks blended in. And I could also come in with a little bit of yellow, but also come back in with a little bit of your raw sienna. And what that does is that breaks that up and kind of blends it in and gives it a more natural kind of sand feel, organic feel. And you can play back and forth with that. And I'm going to be doing some pumpkins for Thanksgiving, like I said, so check those out as well. But this is a lot of fun, really simple, and the price is definitely right up my alley. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish the back on up, and we'll be done with him. I went ahead and finished it up the back, and you could just keep playing and playing and playing with him until you get him where you like him. It's probably better not to overdo it, and we've got him all nice and colored. I'm going to give you a couple of pointers too. If you do this on a tray, it's so much easier to clean up your mess or not clean up your mess. You are working with multi-surface paints, and they're a little bit harder to scrub off because they're designed to go onto different items like this. So remember that. And this is a boot tray that you pick up at the dollar store, usually in the spring, and they're worth their weight in gold. They really are so nice to do projects on and be confined to an area and keep your mess to an area. Another thing that I really like to use, and I actually brought these to our store at miriamjoy.com, is because when I'm done, I can go to the sink, wet my hands down, and just start scrubbing. Scrub my ring, scrub my hands, I scrub my plate off, and they're just really good at helping get all of the paint and everything off of you, especially up the side of my arms and everything, because this paint is a little bit harder. So just get your soap out and just start scrubbing. It also comes with your things to clean your fingernails as well, and I just have given up on mine. Mine are in Halloween costume right now, so we'll just leave it at that with all the painting that we were been doing. Now after this guy is all finished up, take him out, varnish him with a flat varnish, that way he doesn't have this shiny look, and a spray varnish, that way he's not shiny or glossy, he's flat, is what the terracotta is, and that's the reason behind that. So just a nice spray varnish, flat. I use just the Krylon from Walmart, inexpensive. Another thing that I do is when I get ready to put my flowers in, I put some moss up front of his face so that it kind of just adds to that spooky feeling and helps cover up some of the holes that may be left in the vase and everything. And just have fun with it and play it. I'd love to see what you've come up with. You can either post them on my website at Miriam Joy's Waxy Crafty Corner, or you can email them to me at art@miriamjoy.com. Thank you so much for joining me today. God bless.
Ha 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 ha.